let's talk about the 4 biggest mistakes you can make as a new seller. These are mistakes that you're not going to see talked about in other videos because I purposely picked them out that way. These are mistakes that I myself made when I was starting out on Amazon, and I got really lucky that even my first product did well, but it was due to other things and a little bit of luck, not the fact that I made these mistakes. I am also a YouTuber in the Amazon space, and these are all coming from other subscribers and students that I have talked to throughout the year that I've been doing this. Now talked to hundreds of them, and so that's where you're getting all of this data from. The one big mistake that I see students make, you should stick around to the 4th one too, because the 4th one is the most expensive one that you can make. The first one that I see almost everybody make, it's because they're trying to be really cheap and do this cheap, which is good, but they do not get their competitor samples on Amazon. They don't even order them, and then once they get them, if they do order them, they don't ever use them. Everybody tells you to, when you're trying to enter a market, read all the 1-star reviews for a product. You know, even read the 5-star reviews for your competitors, because it tells you so much about what the product is. Well, the reality is, if you don't ever get the product, you don't ever feel the product, and you don't ever actually use it the way it was intended to be used, you are not going to truly understand what those mistakes are. And so from this comes a lot from my personal experience. The products that I've ordered, I've got an entire desk over here that's just dedicated to Amazon samples. You are going to realize so many things that are wrong with your product. For my very first product, I ordered my competitors' samples, and I realized that they were really cheap and really crappy. But the mistake I made is I didn't actually order enough of them. I only ordered one competitor's sample, and if I would have ordered more, I would have realized that there were other competitors on the market that had a much thicker, much higher quality product. And I made the mistake of not actually sourcing the thicker quality one, the higher quality one. And so I did not have the highest rated product in my niche because I made that mistake. Luckily, I did other things right that allowed it to sell, but I don't want you guys to make that mistake by getting too cheap to buy more samples, okay? And those things are, you just can't tell. You don't actually know the quality of a product until it's in your hands. So please get samples from your 2 biggest competitors on Amazon. If you're really feeling spendy, get one from your 3rd. And if you don't live in the United States, if you're really getting close to sourcing a product, I recommend you actually contact somebody on Facebook. Hopefully you know somebody in the US. Get products shipped to their house, and then pay them some money and get them shipped to yours, wherever you live, whether it's Canada, Brazil. I know you guys can't order usually directly from Amazon.com. So the second biggest mistake that I see people make a lot is they focus on a crappy listing. And you guys have heard this before, so I'm actually going to give you some practical examples about how to make your listing better. The first one, obviously, the most important one, is the pictures. I want you guys to realize that when people buy on their phones, you know, I've heard it is 60% of people buying on their phones. I don't care if it's 60 or 30. Either way, it's still a ton of people buying stuff on their phones. And if you actually get on your phone, pull up Amazon.com or the app on their phone, and you will see that pretty much the only thing you see when you pull up a listing is the pictures. The way that most people shop on mobile is simply by looking at the pictures. So you really need to tell your entire story in the pictures. Your bullets, your description, not a lot of people read them. Is the reality of the way it works, especially on mobile. So on your pictures, okay, obviously you should have really crisp, good looking pictures. Everyone knows that. But you should also have pictures that have you should have a lot of text on your pictures, what you should have these days. Have pictures that show the size of your product, have the dimensions on there. They should also illustrate your most important features. If your product's waterproof, if your product's extra strong, it's double thick, whatever it is, you need to write all that in the pictures, okay? If your product's a 4-pack, you should make sure that's very clear to people. You'd be surprised the number of people that don't even read the entire title on an Amazon listing. And when I see the way I shop, I also see that I do not do that. So that's one thing you should be doing with the pictures. One thing you should be doing with the description, the bullets, all of the text. You need to make sure that you're putting in as many keywords as possible to get ranked. Your listing on Amazon should read well, it should have good English, but it shouldn't read like a novel or a newspaper. You want to use that space to put in as many keywords as you can, because the reality is you've got one product, But there are literally 50, 100 different search terms that people could put in Amazon and want to buy your product as the product they want. And so I see a lot of listings that only have, 10, 15 big keywords in there, and it just doesn't make any sense. They can only get ranked for so many keywords on Amazon and the search results because they just don't have enough in there. So I really recommend you get some keyword tools and use those to actually figure out what keywords you should be putting in. The third mistake that I see a lot of sellers, the second one is a big one because I sadly have students and subscribers come call me up and tell me that they have products that have failed. And when I look at their listings, every single time their listing is a big part of why they failed. So really, please make sure you don't make that mistake. The third one that you probably have not heard of is not getting other people's opinions before you launch a product. I know so many of you sellers want to be really secretive about what you're selling, but please, if you're going to buy a product, there's two ways you can do this. One, get opinions from friends, family, or maybe even a Facebook group. So let's give you an example. If I want to buy a pet toy, and I've come up with this really ingenious way to improve it a little bit, make it look better, and I've got this awesome new design that I'm going to put on it. From my personal opinion, what you should do is take that design, get a picture of it somehow. You can, like a mock-up, it could be even a drawing. Put that in a Facebook group for people who love cats or dogs, it doesn't matter. If it's a cat product, obviously cats. If it's a dog product, obviously dogs. And then get opinions from real people that are in that niche. Same thing, if you've got a product that you think your friends and family could give you opinions on, whether it looks good, ask them. Because I see a lot of people put up products on Amazon, and when I look at them, I think that's the stupidest thing ever. Whether they bundled two products or whether they just put a new design on a product, they put a new picture on there. I personally think they look really ugly, and I think it's because they didn't get opinions of from other people. The other way that you should be getting opinions from other people is ask somebody, please, before you spend $3 to $5 grand on a product, pay somebody for their time who knows what they're doing on Amazon. Whether it's from a Facebook group or you meet them on a YouTube channel, whatever it is, pay them for their opinion, because that $100 you're going to spend for an hour or half an hour of their time is going to be so worth it to mitigate the risk of you actually launching a really crappy product. And as long as they actually have experience on Amazon and know what they're doing, they will be able to tell you. They should be able to tell you, is this good? Is this bad? And give you real advice. So many of you don't spend that $100, and I don't know why. I don't know why. It's the most important $100 you could spend to get somebody who knows what they're doing. So the last thing, and this is the one that I'm telling you is the most costly. I had a friend who ordered a bunch of units from China. His name's Robert, and when the units actually arrived at his place, 30 to 40% of the products that he ordered were broken, and they couldn't be sold. They couldn't be sold at all. And so what happened is, his big mistake is that he didn't get his product inspected in China. When your manufacturers are done producing your product, please hire somebody to get an inspection done on the actual product. Somebody I personally use, they're not endorsed by AMZScout. Asia Inspection is a website that I've heard so many good things about, not just from me, that you can get an inspection of your products, because you want to make sure that your product is what they say it is. Robert was lucky, okay? He paid with Alibaba's trade assurance, so he was able to get all his money back. But it wasn't the money that was the most expensive thing for him, okay? This is why I say it's the most expensive mistake. Because you gotta think about this. Robert spent 2 months at least working on this product, with trying to find suppliers, ordering it, trying to figure out how to make the product better. And then he got the product, and he literally wasted 2 months of his time. So not only just 2 months of his labor just out the window, but now he's really, like, personally having talked to him, like, he's really discouraged, and he may not even try another Amazon product, okay? So that is the worst thing that can happen, okay? You getting discouraged and not trying an Amazon product, even though you get the money back, because we can always make more money, right? There's more money made in the world, but you can't always get back more opportunities like this. You can't get back your time. So those are the 4 mistakes people make all the time on Amazon as new sellers, and you don't see it coming because no one ever talks about them. My name is Adam Fisher, and if you think this content's real, if you think I sound like a genuine guy, go check out my YouTube channel. I've got a lot of information out there, and this is part A of a 4-part video series I'm going to be doing here on the AMZScout channel. Thank you so much for having me on, guys, and I will see you guys in part 2 of the next video.